Hello, good evening, everybody, for a random Wednesday night. Let me just have a quick look and see if this is working. I I think I'm live. Okay, cool. Yeah, just came on. It's been a little while since I've done a stream, so I thought I'd come on and have a little chat about some stuff in the news and things. Just generally say hi. I know I look a little bit like a Jedi at the moment, as just dressing gown. I'm not really a Jedi or a ninja. Um, I'm ginger, but not a ninja. I haven't got them skills, I'm afraid. Um, so yeah, the first thing I was just looking at is I quite like to watch the F1 every now and then, the Formula One, and I just saw this headline, so I thought I'd have a quick look at this one. And it was apparently Porsche are going to be getting involved. They're going to buy into Red Bull. I haven't read this fully, but I think it says, what is it, 50% stake here? Ah, look at these beautiful, lovely cars. They're I like the drama of the F1. I like the drivers on the radio all having to go at each other, freaking out about things and stuff. And just on the subject of the F1, if you can see on the screen here, you've got this thing called the halo now. That kind of there's like a little bit that comes up in front of the driver's central vision, but doesn't block it too much, and then it goes around above the sort of the top of the head. And they introduced this. I don't know if it was like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. And at the time, I was a bit skeptical. You know, at the time I was like, I don't know. I wasn't that keen, but I thought, okay, all right. But absolutely was a great idea. I'm really glad they did this because since putting the Halo on there, I'm convinced it saved at least two drivers' lives that I know of. I mean, I remember when they didn't have it. There was one time when Fernando Alonso and Romain Grosjean, I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, the French lad Grosjean, when he was racing, something went wrong near the start of a race, and Grosjean's car kind of got flipped and span right in front of Alonso's, right in front of his face, like the car, and it, he was lucky. I mean, he was inches away, like half a foot away from having his head taken off. That was before the days of the Halo, and so that was lucky. That was just really lucky that it didn't kill him. And then since they've put the Halo in, there's been a couple of incidents, and I think I can't remember if it was the most recent race or the one before. It was like literally, I think the first corner, there was big long straight. They were all getting up to speed. Some people were moving around a bit too much. There was a clatter in one car. It flipped and rolled over on its side, and it went because it was on its side. I think it was the British Grand Prix actually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the British one. And as it hit the sort of tyre barrier and stuff, it flipped the car right over. And it was the young Chinese driver, I think, who was in the car. Thankfully, was able to, they got him out of the car, and he was deemed, medically okay. Everyone was a bit nervous waiting on the news, but like, thankfully, that Halo thing. Although when it first came on, I thought, no, it makes the car look a bit ugly, but yeah, no, totally, totally worth having those there. So my initial thoughts on it were wrong. I'll put my hands up and say, yep, I was wrong to be skeptical. I think they're a really good thing because yeah, that, it's it's an awful thing when a driver loses their life to a sport that they love. I remember the last one where it was there was one of those big sort of digger type things on the track picking up a car that had crashed, and a guy went off, lost it on this corner, and hit that. Then it was just about his head height as well. He was in a coma for a while. I think his name was Jules. What was his surname? Man, apologies for me forgetting, but that was the last guy I know of that died in Formula One, which was awful. And again, had they had the Halo for that particular incident, I don't know if it would have saved him, but it would have given him a better chance for definite, and it probably would have actually. So yeah, fair play to the development of the sport for the Halo. And one thing I quite like now as well that they didn't have before was the kind of camera within the helmet, so you can kind of almost get the driver's point of view. It's a little bit not as clear as the driver would see it because the lights that just light up sort of reflect a little bit and stuff, but it gives you some of the a little bit of the feel for just how mental it must be to be in there, in that cockpit, doing those sort of speeds and G-forces and stuff, and rattling about and being within inches of each other. Yeah, great stuff. I really enjoy watching that. So yeah, that's a reminder to me. I need to go and set set those to record when they're going to be on, so I can catch up with the highlights of them. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough Formula One. Just to get something going. What was the other thing now? Yeah, now the women's football, the Euro 2022. Now, I'm not a particularly fan of football, to be honest. Well, I mean, I enjoy football. It's all right. I used to play a bit and stuff, and when it's international stuff, I'll watch England and stuff. But I don't know loads about football and stuff. But we watched the England versus Sweden match the other day, and it was great. And I mean, not just the fact that we won 4-0, that was awesome. Particularly Sweden's a strong side, but yeah, it was great. It was great to see the confidence build as well, because there was this little cheeky backflip goal. I loved it. It was what's her name now? Alicia Russo, I think she's called. Yeah, or I probably pronounced that wrong. Maybe it's Alicia. I don't know how you pronounce that name. Apologies, but Russo. And it was just everything about it was brilliant. The position she got herself into, where she was kind of facing the wrong way to try and get a shot on goal at that point, and there was a defender coming up behind her and there's a keeper there, but she just thought, I'm going to go for this, and just wallop back foot, just back kick, and just see what happens. And it megged the keeper, just went straight through the keeper's legs. It was brilliant. Yeah, really entertaining. I know, some people have there's a lot of criticism for the women's football. I actually think that criticism is misplaced, in terms of entertainment value anyway, because the blokes game it's so often interrupted because they're such prima donnas about stuff, rolling around on the floor pretending they're injured and all that sort of stuff. It takes a lot out of the game, whereas the women's game is a lot more free flowing because they don't mess around. If there's a bit of stoppage time in the women's game, then they've properly hurt themselves hurt, because they don't tend to, from my experience of seeing a few of the matches, they don't, they just crack on. They don't mess around. I did see them live once. There was England versus Brazil. I think it was a friendly. I think it was a year or two back. It happened to be just down the road at Middlesbrough, at the Riverside. So I managed to take my daughter down to that, and we watched that, and that was great. And probably like the second football match I've ever been to. It's not something I usually go to, but the atmosphere was great, and to be in a crowd, a big crowd of that many people, it was yeah, a good atmosphere. So I'll be looking forward to the final. Whoever we're playing, I think it's either French or Germany, isn't it? So sorry, France or Germany. So either way, it's one of our England enemies, isn't it? One of our arch rivals. So that'll be good. Although I'm actually, no, I'll not say what I was going to say. But yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to a bit of time off. I've only got about 3 more days of work, and then I can spend some time with family and stuff, which is going to be good. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can win and then do what the blokes haven't done since 1966 and win a major competition. That'd be good. I'm not a critic of the women. I'm quite happy for them to go and represent England, and I think that the football is really enjoyable to watch. If you disagree, pop it in the comments. We'll have a chat about it. But I suppose because I'm not a massive football fan anyway, I'm not sort of like, I have no criticism about the women's football. And like I say, I find it more enjoyable to watch in a lot of ways, because it winds me up when I see the blokes just, was one of those most famous ones a few years ago where this guy was near the corner and the player just sort of kicked it against his shin, and then he grabbed his face and fell on the floor, and he was like, oh, it's like it hit you in the shin where you've got a shin pad, and it was the football. What are you grabbing your face for, you big fairy? Yeah, it winds me up. It winds me up, those blokes. When you see the likes of the rugby players who are actually proper tough, getting battered, and then they just get straight back up and carry on. No comparison. But yeah, the women, fair play to them. They seem pretty tough. Crack on. Very little stoppage time, good flow. I really enjoyed that. So that's enough rambling about that one. I'll move on. The other thing that caught my eye was, what is it now here? Yeah, China says it's tracking its out-of-control rocket amid fears it could drop anywhere on Earth. Now, was it about 2 or 3 years ago? I remember I was working at Nissan at the time, And there was something else. There was one of their satellites or something that had gone out of orbit and was, and they didn't know where it would fall, whether all of it would break up in the atmosphere or whether there would be a sizable chunk of metal that would just randomly land somewhere. And yeah, at the time, sorry, I'll just take a little bit of a drink. I do remember at the time I was working on my wife's car, this Renault that we had, Renault Megane Scenic, and I was having issues with trying to change the rocker head gasket because, like, for some reason the French like to design things so that bolts are almost inaccessible, and you have to kind of create your own spanner tool with a weird shape just to get access to that one last bolt that you need to get rid of to take a part off. You know, unless you remove the whole engine, which I haven't got the capability or time to do. So I was getting near my wit's end with this Renault. I won in the end. I did win in the end. I had to modify a few things, but at the time I was working on that, and I remember when I was all these headlines about this bit of space junk could randomly land anywhere, and I remember saying, "Oh, I kind of really hope it lands on the Renault." I just hope it, just out of everywhere on earth, land on the Renault and just do me a favour. Obviously not with anybody in it, just when it's sitting there being worked on in the back lane when I was trying to fix the thing. But and that was a Chinese one as well, I think. I'm pretty sure that was a Chinese one. So yeah, I think that one in the end it sort of ended up in the ocean, as is the probability that anything would, and so there was no real big issue. So, but yeah, they often seem to be doing this, having old bits of satellite or rocket or something that they don't have any control over. Again, hopefully, I guess it just lands in the sea and that's that. But you never know. And they never quite know when it's going to sort of re-enter the atmosphere either. So it says Long March 5B rocket is built to break up as it falls to Earth, Foreign Ministry says. China is tracking an out-of-control rocket that is set to fall on Earth in the coming days, it said. The country committed to provide information on the rocket's movements in a timely manner, its Foreign Ministry said. There is fears the rocket could drop unpredictably down to Earth, and then that's as much as I can see because it's behind a paywall, and I'm not going to pay any of these mainstream media peoples for any of their articles whatsoever. That goes against my principles. So yeah, we're in the same situation again. Now, the thing about China though with this space stuff is, I don't know if you remember, but I think years ago, a lot of these things are years ago. I just say that a lot because I can never remember the actual dates. I'm terrible at remembering when these things happened. But one second. They were testing a weapon system that could take out satellites, and so they had an old satellite which was now no longer in use, and they decided to use it as a target practice for their anti-satellite missile. And yeah, that was a really dumb move, but obviously they'll do what they want, so they went and blew it up, putting space debris everywhere. And if anybody's seen the movie, again, I know it's a movie, but it's based on proper physics. If you've seen the movie Gravity, it's kind of about this potential scenario where if a satellite collided with another or something like that and breaks up and little bits of shrapnel and metal go everywhere, and they're going at like 50,000 miles an hour or whatever it is, 40,000 miles an hour, something about that. It could cause this sort of cascading effect where if some of those then hit other satellites and stuff, and then eventually you could, this stuff just keeps going, and the chances, probabilities of more things striking each other increases. Although it's low risk, it could cause this thing. I forget if there's an actual name for it. There might be an actual name for it. This sort of this scenario, but it's what the movie Gravity is based on. And so yeah, it was a few years back. China just they were just like, oh, screw whatever anybody thinks in any other countries. We're just going to test our anti-satellite missile and just blow this one up and put shrapnel everywhere. We don't care. and so they did. So yeah, thanks China. Yeah, I think thankfully nothing bad that I'm aware of has happened since because of it, but there'll still be all those little bits of shrapnel floating around up there, going all different directions. And yeah, who knows? But this one here about the rocket could drop down. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out on that one. But yeah, the last time that that happened, I was kind of hoping it would land on that car, but I did manage to fix it in the end, so I'm kind of glad it didn't. Seems to be the story of my life, fixing vehicles. Let me just close this for a second. So yeah, I'm still in the process of trying to make that bracket for the motorbike brake. It's kind of ground to a halt because I just rarely get time, but eventually I just need to sort of, there's like a curved bit, I need to get an angle grinder out to do that, and then do the holes and stuff and the spaces. So yeah, I don't think the motorbike thing's going to happen this year. Right, that's it. I will say goodbye, just a quick stream, just to have a quick look at the news, and I hope you're all having a great week. Catch you all later. Bye.